We're going to start things off by putting a quarter in your mental jukebox. I want you to think of your favorite country song and let it play in your mind. Now, while you're tapping your foot to that inner tune, think about this. Before it was ever put on a record, heard on a radio, or performed on stage, that song was born in the same place you're listening to it right now, a songwriter's head. For this edition of CMA Industry Insight, we'll talk with a few of the talented people who give birth to the songs that make Music City go round. And right out of the gate is an answer to the burning question on most aspiring songwriters' minds. If you're serious about writing country music for a living, make no mistake, making your way to Nashville is a solid career move.
If you want to be in country music, it's almost imperative, I think, that you live in Nashville.
You must be present to win. You will not make it as a songwriter if you don't live in Nashville.
You never go wrong coming to Nashville for a while, if not sinking roots and staying.
Nashville is still the Paris of songwriting. It still is where the songs come from.
Real career-oriented writers, those writers who are actually making a living, those writers mostly live in Nashville.
For a songwriter who decides to make the move to Nashville, one of the first items on your to-do list should be a meet and greet with some of the friendly folks at NSAI and the Performing Rights Organizations, or as they're known on the Row, the PROs.
Those organizations are set up to kind of be the front line for new writers when they come to town. They can give you information as far as contacts, publishers, probably introduce you to other songwriters, and they are set up to help you, get answers to the questions you might have.
While visits to the PROs fill your first few days in town, there's even more opportunities once the sun goes down. Events called Writers' Nights are not only an entertaining way to spend an evening, they can be the lifeblood of networking in Nashville.
If I were a new songwriter coming to Nashville, I would just hound all the local songwriting joints, the Bluebird Cafe, the Douglas Corners, any songwriter nights, open mics.
Besides the Bluebird, there's probably 50 other places every night around town where people are playing songs.
What you see are 3, 4, 5 songwriters sitting with their instruments, mostly guitars. You'll see pianos, and these writers sing their songs.
It can be anything from people playing their first songs for the first time out, all the way to some of the biggest hit writers who are the voices and the templates behind the biggest hit records that you hear.
It's not only a good place to get to try your songs out, but most importantly, hear what other songwriters are doing and meet other songwriters, and all these things can build on each other to help you, progress as a writer yourself.
Going to see a songwriter show for a songwriter can be the most important place you can gather knowledge.
One of the first lessons a writer's night teaches a new songwriter is also the hardest to learn. The talent in this town is insanely intimidating.
It can certainly take you back when you first move here. You'll go out to some writer's night where nobody's in the audience, and you'll hear 4 writers that play 5 songs each that are better than anything you've ever written in your life.
Back home in Indiana or Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Mama and them might just think you're great, but when you come to the center of the songwriting universe, which pretty much is Nashville, Tennessee, and you see what the real competition is. Some people just fold and go home. Some people get very depressed and go home. Some people get mad and depressed and then go, okay, that's what I need to do.
If you're up to the challenge of competing against the cream of the songwriting crop, the best thing you can do is to work on being the best writer you can be.
Successful writing to me is, it's very much a discipline. Writers write. They actually, are out there writing, co-writing, playing shows, getting a sense for what an audience thinks about your work.
Go to the classes, go to see the NSAI without a doubt. Go avail yourself of all that knowledge, seminars, yes, go to them. Take guitar lessons if you're a crummy guitar player. If you're a good guitar player, anything to improve your craft.
There are lots of ways to make sure you're on point, you're on message, and you're communicating, and you're trying to get the emotion out of what you want to write.
Once your talents reach a place where others want to record your songs, it will soon be time for a music publisher to step up to the plate.
A publisher is your business representative. Represents your songs, and in return, they share in the income from the songs.
When you do sign a publishing deal, the benefits of that are you've got people that are plugged into the town and know what's going on, and will hear about opportunities probably more quickly and more likely than you would just by yourself. In addition, they will pay you, money, a draw or salary, however you want to call it. We call it a draw.
I think that's an important thing. The publishing company looks out and says, well, who are the brighter stars out here? A lot of people want to be writers, but let's face it, you can see it, and to take those young writers and give them enough money to let them do the work and develop.
Once you're earning a paycheck penning songs for a living, you'll find out fast that you'll do more than just get by with a little help from your songwriting friends.
Co-writing, increasingly, I would say, is reaching almost the 100% levels.
It is extremely prevalent.
Co-writing is really a way of life in Nashville. That was something that I had to learn.
With co-writing, you can hopefully maybe maximize your chances a little more by, if you're writing with the right person, if they've got strengths that you don't have, and vice versa. If you complement each other well, you can hopefully write a better song than you could have written by yourselves individually. Plus, if they're with a different publisher, you've got another publisher that's going to hopefully work that song, or maybe they have a great relationship with an artist that you couldn't have gotten to.
The meeting of musical minds takes place in something that is known as a writing appointment. It's here that on the right day, with the right person at the right time, a little bit of small talk can lead to a smash hit.
You start talking about songs and ideas and maybe a guitar or a piano, however the writing goes, and you try to create something. Maybe somebody already has something started. Maybe you just sit around and talk about life for a while, and an idea will fall out of the conversation.
It's a brainstorming session. It's nothing more than trading ideas.
You have to dare to be stupid. You have to dare to throw out things that are kind of off the wall, and you have to reveal certain things about yourself and about your values and your ethics and what you think love is and what you think life is about.
We'll just start batting these ideas around, and if we're lucky, we get out of the way of any real inspiration.
Once you have a song, the next step is to save it in a form that can be passed around town.
Typically, we'll do a very quick work tape. Basically, everybody just sings them in their computers, and you end up with an MP3 of it, a guitar and a vocal.
After you've done a work tape and everybody decides that the song is worth further investment of time and effort,
you may go into the studio and do a better quality guitar vocal. The next step would be doing a full demo, whereas you rent a studio, you hire a band, you do a full-blown demo recording of the song.
This is usually a decision made mutually by you and the publisher. You kind of define together what needs a full demo, what needs a guitar vocal.
You want to be smart about it. If it's a song that is real lyrically driven and you have a great singer, you could probably get away with just a guitar vocal. If it's a song that's more about groove and feel and production, then you better go ahead and do a full demo on it. So I would just say, on a song-by-song basis, decide what it is you need to do to best represent that tune.
Once the demo is dialed in, it's time for its journey to begin. The ultimate destination is the ears of a bona fide country music star. But the who, what, where, when, how, why, or especially if it gets there, well, that's up to the songwriting gods. And they're a fickle bunch.
The closer you can get to the artist herself, himself, the better.
The bottom line is the artist. There are gatekeepers on the way.
The typical gatekeepers are going to be the A&R departments at the labels, the producers, the artists themselves are ultimately probably the ultimate gatekeeper. Managers, the artist managers a lot of times are gatekeepers, and then coming back towards you, your publishers are the gatekeepers.
If you know Tim McGraw, you can pick up the phone and call him. If you don't, you have to find a song plugger who knows the A&R person or the producer.
So let's say your song is lucky enough to get the attention of an artist. There's a chance he or she will want to put a hold on the song. And while that sounds like good news, be careful not to get your hopes up too high.
Basically, what it means is just that that song is now in very serious consideration for getting cut, and there is an agreement between the A&R department that is holding it and the publisher that the publisher will not pitch it to some other artist.
Getting a hold, especially your first hold, first few holds, is a very exciting feeling, but it probably 9 times out of 10 is going to be one of your biggest disappointments of your career.
Those of us who've been writing for a lot of years, we've had the experience of songs being taken literally into the studio, recorded, and then the band or artist decides this isn't working.
One way to look at it from a songwriter's perspective is could you walk into a Mercedes dealer and say, I love that car, I'll be back in a year with my $65,000. Just hold it for me. I like the color. It's difficult.
If you have a great song that can be recorded by a lot of different people, you've got to be very, very choosy about who you grant a hold to, and you have to stay on top of that and make sure they're serious about it, because your opportunity costs are huge.
While it's easy to get bogged down in the business side of things, it's important to always remember, at its core, songwriting is still a creative art, and it takes talent, heart, and determination to turn it into a career.
Protect that creative person that lives inside of you. Don't let the business beat you down. Don't let disappointment turn you around. Protect your creative inner person and keep writing. That's it. That's the secret. Here's the secret. Write all the time.
Use the muscle. You want to be an athlete? Run, lift weights. It is a muscle.
I cannot tell you, I had somebody tell me this one time, I cannot tell you if or when you'll make it, but I can tell you how you won't, and that's if you quit.
If you are a writer, you've been given a gift and you need to use it. You need to push yourself even when others don't push you. That's, I think, important.